Yo guys, a lot of you want me to review a video by Tristyn Lee. He's only really known for his heavy drug use and that he's so short. He used to eat a carnivore diet, but nowadays he seems to eat whatever.
Alright YouTube, good morning, good night, whatever it is, wherever you are. We got a full day of eating today. It's about 6:30 right now and I'm gonna get my first meal in. Typically I'd throw my first meal a little bit earlier, but I just got back from like a 20-25 minute walk, just getting some morning light. So this is technically the pre-workout meal, pretty simple. So we have 4 ounces of bison sirloin, which is a leaner cut. As I've re-implemented carbs, I've lowered the amount of fats that I'm taking in. I'm still getting adequate to support hormone health, all that different stuff. 95.
He does understand something about eating fat and hormone health, which is good. Of course, I don't know what exactly he eats, so I can't comment on that, at least yet. He seems to at least eat good quality meat. He also doesn't overcook it. Rice has arsenic. That's one big problem with rice. Otherwise, it's just sugar, fiber, and a few anti-nutrients, not really anything much because the shell of the rice has been removed, which is why it's called white rice. Brown, red rice has a lot of anti-nutrients because the anti-nutrients are in the shell. White rice is the best kind of rice that you can eat, but still you're almost always going to be consuming arsenic, except if you eat some mega organic, small farm rice from some fields in China. Really, you're almost never going to get rice without arsenic nowadays. And some cucumbers, I don't know what the point of that is. Cucumbers only have nowadays pesticides for sure, but even if not, then it just has water and very little sugar. Really no point in eating cucumbers except for hydration. Then you would need to eat them raw as they are.
Grams of jasmine rice, just white rice. I found that this digestibility wise has worked really well for me, and just because we are training, it's like 7 o'clock right now. We're gonna be training at like 8 o'clock or something around there. I want something that's fast digesting. 100 grams of cucumber, just to throw that in. It's basically just water. I've just tried re-implementing some sort of...
Okay, he kind of understands what he's eating, which is good. It's uncommon because most of the people that I review have no idea why they eat what they eat. He understands that cucumbers are just water.
What people see as a vegetable, which is essentially a fruit. And then of course we have some salt.
He even understands that cucumbers are not a vegetable. Wow. I think that he was signing something before. It's just funny because people nowadays ask for an autograph from people who lift man-made metal in a man-made building. That's really funny. And who are drug users, as in drug addicts, actually. It's funny because what he's doing is so meaningless, yet people seem to look up to him or want some kind of attention.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cute how he's trying. Really, I'm not saying that to offend him. Yeah. Some people say that he's 4'11", but officially it says that he's 5'3". He doesn't seem so tall. That would be like 160 centimeters. He seems smaller. It's interesting that no matter how much he works out, he can do whatever he wants. He will always look small. I only see him as small. There's just nothing he will ever be able to do. No matter what kind of drugs he takes, no matter what he eats. And that's just something that's very hard for people like him to accept. I get it, totally. And again, I'm not saying this to offend him. That's not the point here. It's just that with these kind of genetics, you're bound to fall for something like the gym because you will never actually feel right in your skin. Ugh, I hate zucchinis, so disgusting.
Whole Foods. I don't know if it's a weekly grocery haul, but it'll last us for a little bit. Technically, there's some foods in here that are for Braden, Tyler, or whatever. Hefty bill. But I figured I'd break down some of the different foods that I'm having. It is pretty similar to what I was doing even when I was doing carnivore. The only addition, obviously, is the carbohydrate sources. I haven't really shifted up my protein sources too much. I'll still have like sockeye salmon for the good omega profile. But I have added in, of course, the carbohydrates, which is sweet potato primarily. And then underneath everything here, we also have some rice. So I like to get these sockeye salmon fillets just because they're sockeye salmon.
Sweet potato, any kind of potatoes, fruit would be much better and easier to digest than the rice, which is, of course, super unhealthy. It's the best kind of seed that you can eat, but seeds are all still horrible for you.
And packaged because they're just so easy. I don't have to prep anything, and especially after my workout. For my vegetables, I've only been doing zucchini and cucumber, which technically I believe cucumber is a fruit. So another lean source of protein that I'll sometimes do is bison sirloin steaks. They only have one there, so we picked up one of those. 2 bags of jasmine rice. We're gonna do meal 3. This is a little bit later than I typically have it. I normally have it about 40 minutes after my workout, but we had to go get the groceries themselves. We're gonna get cooking. I'm gonna prep this meal up, and then that's gonna be meal 3.
Meal 2 was the powder? Was it supposed to be a meal?
So 4 ounces of sockeye salmon.
I don't know why he eats the zucchini and the cucumbers, but whatever. It'll be okay for hydration. There's still pesticides even on organic cucumbers and zucchinis. Then at least remove the skin. That's where most of the pesticides will be. Sweet potatoes, okay, if you want to eat cooked food, the sweet potatoes are alright. Any kind of potatoes, really. For carbs especially. They're not so hard to digest compared to all of the seeds and grain garbage. Of course, ideally you would just be eating fruit, but he does eat fruit. He just eats low-carb fruit, which are the cucumbers and the zucchini, and I already said what I think about rice.
And then I'll shift my fats till later on in the day. So 135 grams worth of carbohydrates from white rice and sweet potato, 100 grams of cucumber, and then 4 ounces of sockeye salmon, which is fairly lean in itself. So gonna eat this and then on to meal.
He said that he eats enough fat for his hormones. His body fat is obviously very low already, but I don't see it anywhere yet. Hopefully, we'll see more.
4 ounces of sockeye salmon, which is fairly lean in itself. So, gonna eat this and then on to meal 4. Nadim's gonna be coming over in what, like 30 minutes? 30 minutes or so, and he's gonna be cooking me a gourmet chef meal. The last time we were with Nadim, he's like, man, I wanna get you on my cooking show. And I told him I eat like basically just... It's just Nadim. Decline.
So we got sweet potato. We're gonna do a sweet potato puree. Perfect. Blaming y'all because that weird
Fifth and final actual meal of the day. I'm sure you guys are pretty sick.
As you could see, the meat that he ate was pretty rare. He doesn't seem to overcook his meat, which is great. He also ate asparagus, which he said he doesn't usually eat. He doesn't seem to eat any vegetables at all, which is of course great because vegetables are, together with seeds, the unhealthiest foods you could possibly eat. Of course, he still eats seeds, which are rice.
Seeing the same meals over and over again, but as I said, pretty much all my meals consist of similar foods. For this meal, we have 4 ounces of bison sirloin, which is a leaner cut, so I'm gonna have to add some more fats to this meal. It's gonna be 22.5 grams of additional fats, whatever, 25 grams of protein from 4 ounces of this bison sirloin, and then I'm gonna have 100 grams of carbs worth of rice, which I believe is 125 grams of jasmine rice. On top of that, I'm gonna throw 7.5 grams of 7 grams of olive oil in with the rice, and I'm gonna use another teaspoon, which is about 7 to 8 grams of olive oil to cook the zucchini in as well. So this has a little bit more fat in the meal. I'm probably gonna have to add more fat to my last meal of the day just so that I get my additional fats in, but pretty simple meal. I don't feel like showing you guys me eating again, so we'll get to the last meal of the day.
I don't know why he uses olive oil. Olive oil is just oil extracted from olives, obviously, but people don't think about it. It's the same with oil extracted from seeds. You would never be able to consume that in nature, seeing as it's extracted oil, which is why it's automatically unhealthy, seeing as it's unnatural. All unnatural food is unhealthy, obviously, but this more so than other foods, seeing as you actually have very inflammatory oils, and by inflammatory I mean that they will provoke inflammation, which means that the oils are toxic to the human body. And of course they are, because you have extracted oils, and then you get polyunsaturated and even monounsaturated oils in large amounts, but the body is made out of mostly saturated animal fat. Olive oil is seen as a better oil because it's higher in monounsaturated oils compared to rapeseed oils, but still, really at the end of the day, you're consuming unnatural amounts of oils.
There's nuts everywhere. So technically this is the 6th meal of the day. I know it's a little bit silly to call it 6 meals because really it's 4 true meals and then 1 shake, intra-workout shake, and then a little bit of casein, protein, as well as fats to finish off the night. 25 grams worth of casein and then 30 grams worth of fat, which is about 45 grams of walnuts to go with this. And that's going to be the final meal of the day. I'll add all the calories, the macros, all that different stuff.
That will be his fat source. That's a problem. It did seem like at the beginning of the video he understood that you need to consume a lot of animal fat to produce hormones to be healthy. The better your hormonal profile is, the healthier you are. Your hormones are one of the best indicators of your health. Your hormones will not be healthy if you consume lean meat throughout the day with some kind of plant oils and then walnuts. Walnuts do not have cholesterol, which the hormones are made out of, such as testosterone, which he doesn't need because he's getting it in a different way. But, well, you do need it, obviously, naturally, but okay, that's a whole different story. Women get estrogen, progesterone, vitamin D, which is actually an animal hormone, not actually a vitamin, technically, is also made from cholesterol, and so on. You can technically create a lot of cholesterol yourself, but if your body fat is so low and you're not consuming any fat, then it's not going to be easy whatsoever, which is why for him to stay lean and to not eat any animal fat is dumb, of course. But again, he doesn't need to worry about testosterone in his specific case. But of course, he's gonna run into a lot of problems because of the drug use. Eventually, he's only like 21 years old or something right now. Yeah, sure, he doesn't probably notice much. In a few years, it's gonna be a whole different story. But obviously, his whole lifestyle in general is incredibly unhealthy. That's needless to say, especially with these powders, which will destroy his digestion. Overall, he doesn't eat as terribly as most bodybuilders, for sure. Even the ones who eat cooked food still eat way worse than him. Eating sweet potatoes, cucumbers, white rice instead of other rice is of course better than the absolute garbage that most bodybuilders eat. But compared to what humans are supposed to eat naturally, it's still absolute garbage. Bottom line here is that you're not going to be able to produce hormones by eating walnuts, by consuming plant oils. That he still simply doesn't understand. I don't know what's going on here.
On the screen, right here, as you guys can tell, it's a decent amount of food I've been massing for the past 3 months, technically now, but it's been the past 2 months that I've really been pushing food pretty hard, especially being that my body weight is so low in comparison to a lot of other people. So right now I'm about...
The people whose body weight is low need to especially watch out that they consume enough fat. If you have a lot of body fat, then you don't need to worry about it as much, seeing as you're going to be consuming your own body fat when you need to create hormones. This guy cannot create anything. It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
14 pounds up from the start of my massing period, and I'm feeling good. My training's going well, feeling more full, all that different stuff. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I know you guys always like to see my nutrition stuff. Training's cool, but people love food, especially people that are dieting. I know it's a thing, and it's a weird thing that all the fitness community seems to like to watch.
The reason people like to watch others eating food, especially the ones who are on a diet, all diets are man-made, is simply because they are obsessed with what they are not allowed to eat. They force themselves to eat a certain way, which is obviously completely unnatural. You should just eat what you want to eat, as long as the food is natural, when you want to eat also. And this is why it's considered to be a sort of an ED.
Other people eat while they're dieting and stuff, so you guys are weird for that. But anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Catch you in the next one.
As I said, his diet overall, compared to most bodybuilders, is not bad. He eats proper meat. The meat is also not overcooked. Yes, he eats a lot of garbage along with the meat, but still, you can't really complain when you compare him to most of the guys. Still, of course, compared to what humans eat in nature, his diet is absolutely horrible. And as I said, he doesn't eat, really, from what it seems like, any animal fat, just micrograms found in the lean meat that he consumes. I understand why he works out. Maybe I would even work out if I would be like him, if I would come from where he comes from, if I would have his ancestry and everything. It's a pretty tough life. I totally get it. I can't blame him. Thanks for watching.